You ever notice how it's only when you're away is that you begin to realize how loud the quiet actually is? Let's talk about it.
Yes, yes, yes. Classic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I am your host, the OG Dad himself, and you have just tuned into another great episode. So if you look around me right now, I'm actually not in my normal studio. I am away on an undisclosed location doing something for work. So actually, the very thing that I'm doing right now with this podcast is something that I'm doing for work. So, I felt like since I ended up bringing some of my personal equipment, I just decided to go ahead and shoot an episode and kind of talk about what I was thinking this week. And that topic just happened to be traveling while parenting. And it really strikes home with me because my wife, she works a lot and she travels quite often, especially during like the springtime for work. So there's usually a lot of daddy-daughter time, which is great. I have no qualms about that at all. But it really kind of made me think about when I'm traveling and I start to miss my family, miss my daughter and miss my wife, and trying to figure out what they're doing. I'm literally staring at what I think are bamboo trees. I don't know. I might post a photo or something and you all can tell me what kind of tree that is, because it looks like bamboo, but maybe I'm wrong. But welcome to the show. And I wanted to do it, while in a hotel room, and it's not my normal setup, but the lighting is good. So that's what's important. And I want to talk about just some of that guilt that comes with traveling. Even when it's a necessary trip, even when it's like work related, missing those small moments, they weigh on you. They weigh heavy on you more than expected. I had to recognize it as like, I care, right? It's just, I feel bad about doing this thing, even if it is for work. And, it's just like, I'm not there. I'm not doing my duty as a parent. I'm not being a partner. I'm not supporting, even though there are a lot of phone calls and a lot of FaceTimes that are happening while away. And those things never stop. But, you just get that kind of aching feeling. It's just like, I'm not doing my part, and you feel really bad about it. And I feel bad right now, even as I'm doing this, talking about it. It feels like, man, I really should be getting my baby's, stuff ready for school the next day or playtime. And, between now and about 6:30, we're playing. She's listening to music. She's really gotten into the song Golden, which is a good song. But after listening to it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times in a row, you kind of get over it. But it is a good song. So those are the things that I'm thinking about. Like, I'm gonna go get some dinner here in a little bit, but like, man, I just want to be home, chilling, just doing the parent thing right now. And it's really, really kind of interesting when we're traveling and, we still got a parent. And, when I'm talking to my wife on the phone, I can hear the little one in the back. And she's, daddy, daddy. And like in the middle of a sentence, you have to stop what you're saying to your partner or whoever and address the other person in the car. And I don't hesitate in that regard because, she recognizes my voice, and I'm sure she's asking mom, when's daddy, 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 like when she does when mom's away. So, I'm always just kind of, and I don't actually travel a lot for work at all, but when I do, I feel so bad, and it's just kind of guilty, like it can't be done without me. But I know my wife's got it. The little one has a routine, and like they're good. I'm sure they miss me, and they much rather have me home. But, feel like that. Is this something missing there when it comes to, parenting while away? Talking about addressing, the other person in the car and, talking about her day and asking how school was and stuff like that. Presence isn't always physical. Sometimes it is about asking those questions. Connection shows up through intention. The intention is to connect with her, even if it is remote. And FaceTime calls and voice calls, and if you do like the voice messages and all that stuff truly matters. And you really have to be in that moment and listen and pay attention. Or I do anyway. I'm speaking for myself. I make it an intention to be intentional, right? Especially when her bedtime is at 6:37, or we get her going at 6:30 and then she's in bed by 7. But like, I'm not gonna see her. So when we do talk or we do FaceTime, it has to be intentional. It has to be her in my moment. Like, it's just us, me connecting with my wife, telling her I miss her, and just telling them about my day and what that looked like. So when I got here, I had to do some things to get set up and get going. And then I realized I was like, oh man, I have a ton of time. I can, and I actually ended up bringing some of my recording equipment. So I was like, well, I'll just record an episode real quick and, see if I can produce something for 20 minutes to a half hour or whatever. So when all that's done, that work day is done, and I have a moment to talk to them and communicate with them, I do so intentionally, not because it's a requirement. Well, and I actually feel some kind of way about that. Like, I hope it's a requirement. I hope my wife is requiring me to show up and be intentional, because things are busy and we get away from the other things that are on the other side of the phone, and we just want to deal with what's in front of us. But when it comes to connecting to my family, my immediate family, my direct family, my wife and my daughter, that's intentional. Everything else can go away for the brief 5 to 10 minutes, that we talk on the phone. And, I actually remember getting here this afternoon, and I didn't forget to call my wife and let her know I made it, but time got away from me. And I think 45 minutes might have passed, and she texted me, hey, did you make it? And I stopped what I was doing, realized, oh snap, I didn't call her and text her and let her know, and stepped away from what I was doing for a few minutes just to let her know that I was good. And I'm sure a lot of people do that, but that's just speaking for me and, what I do and how I like to show up when I'm not fully physically present. So yeah, that was just something I was just kind of thinking about, just as far as traveling while working, and how bad you kind of feel, just like guilty, just like, oh, I can literally go and do anything, but the only thing that I want to do right now is spend time with my family. And I miss them so much, and I'll be home soon, but I miss them so much, and I'll be home, not even in 24 hours. So it'll all come together by tomorrow. And what that time away reveals is that distance removes the autonomous nature, right? Because things have to be intentional. To what I was speaking about just a few moments ago, we kind of run into routines, and things just, things, are in repetition, and we know nothing's going to be different. So what the time away reveals is that, it removes the autonomous nature of everything, and it, creates a space for reflection. And, travel invites a self-check-in, so to speak, with clarity that those busy routines usually often block. So like when I'm just kind of locked in and zoned in, you don't really think about what could change and be different. And when you kind of have that time away from the routine and family, you start to think about how you've been approaching things for the last few weeks or whatever. And you really want to come home, in a better place. The goal isn't just to return home. It's just to return home better. I mean, fatherhood stretches and adapts, and what you learn should strengthen how you show up, essentially. Now, is this some life-altering experience that's going to, completely change my outlook on life? No, I don't think so. but it will present an opportunity for me to appreciate what I have back at home and to miss and really be more intentional with my family, because the only thing I'm thinking about is pulling up in the driveway and giving my family the biggest hug, because that's all I want to do. I'm here right now. It's not even 5 o'clock yet, and I'm already ready to go back home. So being away doesn't necessarily mean you're disconnected from everything. You can still show love, be intentional, and show consistency from a distance. Missing home is not a weakness. It's proof that you care. Plain and simple. I just want to say thank you all for showing up every day for your kids, for your family, and especially for yourself. This is the OG Dad signing off. Y'all be good.